So for this video, I'm going to be talking about my August TBR, all of the books that I'm planning to read in August. And of course, July was the month of doing a bunch of short books because of the Battle of the Bands readathon, which is going pretty good. I'm actually filming this right before the end of the readathon. It's going very well. But like I've said, I've been reading a bunch of short books. And for August, it's going to be almost the exact opposite. I got a lot of chunky books to read in August. So that's what I'm going to be chatting about in this video. So yeah, let's get to it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So speaking of the chunky books, we have not one, but two chunky Harry Potter books. And that would, of course, be number 5, Order of the Phoenix, and one of my personal favorites, number 6, The Half-Blood Prince. And number 5 was our Harry Potter pick for July. If y'all don't know already, we've been doing a Harry Potter readathon since March, reading one book a month. And this was supposed to be the one for July, but a lot of people, including myself, opted to not read this chunker in July during the readathon because it's 800 pages. So yeah, I'm going to be reading it in August. I definitely remember this being my least favorite. I think I gave it like 2.5 stars when I read it. I really didn't like it, but maybe this time around I'll enjoy it more. Who knows? I've really enjoyed the first 4 books on reread, but I remember book 6 being one of the best, so I definitely anticipate this still being a favorite of mine. I don't really remember too much about it except for the very end, so it'll be fun to read these back to back. Maybe I'll have a better time with this, but I'm definitely expecting to like this one a bit more. And going along on the chunky train, we have Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson, Stormlight Archive Book 2. I planned on rereading the Stormlight Archive one book a month, and I started, I think, way back in March with Way of Kings, one of my personal favorites. And then I was supposed to read this in May, but I've kind of been putting it off because I just haven't been in the mood to read such a chunky fantasy book. But for August, I'm going to try my best to get to it because, of course, Stormlight Book 5 is going to come out in December, and I want to have reread the first 4 books before then. So yeah, I want to get to this. Words of Radiance, probably my second favorite in the series, just behind Way of Kings. It's good. I know I'm going to have a great time with it. So yeah, that's the plan, at least, to get to it in August. And speaking of chunky books that I've been putting off, we have The Burning White by Brent Weeks, which is the conclusion to the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks. And I have not been excited to read this because I have been enjoying the series, but book 4 was my least favorite, and that was like 3.5 stars. And this book is like twice the length of it, and I've heard people give mixed opinions on this book, and I don't know. I'm just not very excited for it, but I do know that I want to just get it over with and finish it, and hopefully I'll have a good time with it. Like I said, there's been mixed opinions on the ending and just the book in general. I don't know. I just want to know how it ends, and I want to just have it be done with. I know this is not going to be like a new favorite series of mine, so I just want to read it and see how it ends. But I am reading one of my all-time favorite fantasy series. We're actually doing a Legends of the First Empire read-along over on the Book Astronomer Discord. We've already done Age of Myth and Age of Swords, book 1 and 2, and in August we're going to be doing book 3, Age of War, which is definitely one of the best in the series, in my opinion. Probably book 1 is still my favorite, but Age of War is a close second. This book is amazing. Of course, it's book 3. I can't go into detail too much about what goes on, but with the title like Age of War, it's very fitting. And actually, you know, it's 6 books, but this kind of does feel like the end of somewhat of an arc of the story, and it's just really good. So hopefully y'all have been joining along with Age of Myth and Age of Swords. Age of Swords might be my least favorite in the series, but still very good. Age of War, it's going to be a lot of fun to revisit this one that I haven't read in quite a while. Now let's talk about some books that I'm super excited to read. The first one, Baby Teeth by Zoe Stage. And this one, it's going to be a reread. It's one of my all-time favorite horror books. And the reason that we're going to reread this one in August is because Zoe Stage has a new book coming out. And wouldn't you know, it's the sequel to Baby Teeth, Dear Hannah. And I could not be more excited for this book. When I read this book a few times by now, I've always pondered what a sequel would look like, and I always wondered if she would ever write one. Well, it turns out we're getting one, and I'm super excited to see where Hannah's story goes. I think in this one, she's going to be a bit older. If you don't know, this one's basically about a 7-year-old girl who is a psychopath and just terrorizes her mother. But now we're getting her at an older age. I don't know what the story is going to be. I didn't read any synopsis or anything, but I'm super excited. Definitely a 5-star prediction for me, and I want to read it right now. Another thing we're doing over on the Bookish Drummer Discord is the Ray Bradbury Book Club. In the past months, we've read Fahrenheit 451 and The Illustrated Man, but for this month in August, we're going to be tackling The Martian Chronicles. And I will admit, not one of my all-time favorite Ray Bradbury tales, but definitely one that if you haven't read before, definitely worth checking out. It's kind of a fix-up novel where he takes short stories and random stories that are loosely tied around Mars and spaceships and all that stuff and makes a fix-up novel. It's really good. Not one of my all-time favorites, like I said, but definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people have been really enjoying The Illustrated Man and Fahrenheit 451. So definitely interested to see what people think about this one. And now we get to my Patreon pick for the month. And if you're unaware, my Patreons over on Patreon we do a random wheel spin every month, and whoever wins gets to choose any book that they want me to read in the following month. And this month, Bran was the winner, and the book that he chose for me to read is Between Two Fires by Christopher Bowman. And this one's interesting because I did read one of his other books, The Black Tongue Thief, also a Patreon pick. However, I did not really enjoy that book too much. I gave it 2.5 stars. It was funny at times, and overall, the main character was interesting, but I didn't really like the pacing. Like, every chapter just felt like a new adventure that the person was going on. It didn't really feel very cohesive. It was just kind of all over the place for me. But I've heard from several people that this book is going to be up my alley a bit more and up to my taste. It's supposed to be kind of like a fantasy horror mix. And on the cover, it says an epic tale of medieval horror. So that sounds pretty good. I also love this cover, by the way. And yeah, I'm definitely interested in this book, and hopefully it's better than The Black Tongue Thief. Also, a different thing that we do on the Bookish Drummer Discord. If you're not a part of the Bookish Drummer Discord, we do a lot of stuff there. It's a lot of fun. But another thing that we do is I do a random number generator once a month, and I have my Discord members guess a number between 1 and 100, and whoever is the closest gets to choose a book off of my TBR for me to read the following month. And this month was interesting because there was actually 2 winners. The number was 68, and Fury, of course, every month he's been guessing 69, so he was 1 away. And then my good friend Ian guessed number 67, so they were both 1 away. So I actually let them both choose a book for me to read. Fury, the book that he's been wanting me to read for quite a while now, is 7 Deadly Wonders by Matthew Riley, if that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, this one does sound interesting. This is supposed to be one of his favorite books and series of all time. I don't really know too much about it. On the cover, it just says, a lost ancient relic, a fight for power and survival, the hunt is on. So this would be a fun book and series to just jump into without really knowing too much. And yeah, I'm going to hopefully have a good time with it. You never know. And the book that Ian wants me to read, he'll be happy about this, that I'm happy about it because it's a book that I've been meaning to get to for a long time now. It's All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. Definitely one of my new favorite authors. Blacktop Wasteland was one of the best books that I've ever read. Was one of my favorites that I read last year. And I've enjoyed everything that I've read by him. So, of course, I'm excited to check out this book and see if it is a new favorite of mine. Am I going to like it as much as Blacktop Wasteland, or is it on par with his other books? I don't know. I don't even really know that much about it, but I'm going to jump into it and hopefully I enjoy it. And if that wasn't enough for the Bookish Drummer Discord, we have another thing that we do over there. We have the Thrill, Chill, or Kill Book Club. And every month we pick a random mystery, thriller, horror book to read, buddy read. And the one that we're going to do in August is actually Shari Lapina's new book, What Have You Done? Which Shari Lapina, I loved The Couple Next Door, and then a lot of her other books were kind of hit or miss for me. But the one that she wrote last year, which I can't really remember the title off the top of my head, but this one I really enjoyed last year. I gave it 4.5 stars. So I'm definitely excited to check out her new book, and hopefully it's just as good, if not better. Again, with thrillers, I kind of like to go in not knowing too much. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to check this one out, and hopefully you are as well. And this next book, if I don't get to it, it's not that big a deal. But every month I've been doing a random number generator based off of my unread physical TBR, because I'm trying to get through as much of my physical TBR as possible, which is kind of difficult this year because I'm doing so much rereads. But oh, what can you do? But this one was the winner and the pick for August. So if I can get to it, that would be great. It is What Is Not Yours Is Not Yours by Helen Oyeyemi. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I have read one of her books in the past that I really enjoyed called Mr. Fox. Very weird, literary. I never really read anything quite like it. It was really interesting. And this is actually one of her short story collections. And I'm definitely excited to see how her short stories go. Mr. Fox was kind of a short story collection, but it was loosely tied together in a kind of a funny way. Definitely check that out if you're interested. But yeah, so I'm interested to check out more of her stuff. And if I like this one, I do actually have a couple more books by her. So she could potentially be a new favorite author of mine, but I definitely need to give her another shot here. And like I said, this was just a random pick. So I don't know. Hopefully I like it. But it's definitely not one that I have to get to this month. The other books are kind of like books that I either have to get to or that I really, really want to get to. This would just be an extra bonus for me. All right, so that is my August TBR. All of the books that I'm hoping and planning to get to in the month of August. Definitely let me know what you think down below, and definitely let me know if you're going to be joining us for any of these books. A lot of these books are going to be on display as buddy reads in the Book of Stormer Discord. So definitely check that out if you're not already there. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely let me know what you're excited to read in August and what you're the most excited for me to read in August. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the YouTube channel and the Book of Stormer Discord, where a lot of these books are going to be buddy reads and read-alongs. And I have my Patreon down below. Like I said, every month I do a Patreon wheel spin, and whoever wins gets to pick any book that they want me to read. Any book. Any book. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a fantastic day.